everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Comment Section. That's right, guys. Do you know that probably by the time you hear this, it will be April? And you know what that means? We're only a month away from May, which is the start of the summer movie season. That's right. In today's episode of Comment Section, we're going to be going through the movies that come out this summer, 2026. Now, I don't know if you've been keeping up with the movie news lately, besides the one that I know hurt you the most.
Yeah.
Because last time we recorded, you had gotten your tickets to Avatar 3.
Oh, of course. I mean, I pre-ordered them 5 years in advance.
Yes. And I know you were very heartbroken. And I'd never seen you like this before.
Yeah.
About Avatar 3 not making $2 billion.
Yeah.
And
I really get sad.
And when James Cameron talks about maybe not making a fourth one, producer Paul, cold-hearted producer Paul, had a wellness check done on you.
Yeah.
And we had to see the body cam footage.
Yeah, it was sort of like a SWAT style.
Fair,
yeah.
It's not fair.
I've never seen it before. It's sort of like a SWAT style wellness check. Like a lot of people checked on me at once. Yeah.
Yeah. Not many wellness checks start with
which is,
guns pointed at your head.
The other funny thing about Paul is he didn't say a single thing about the illness that I'm dealing with. No wellness check for that. It was only the Avatar thing.
That's right. Because producer Paul, he has his priorities. He knows what he's focused on.
He knows what matters. He knew that nothing else was going to affect. He knew that was the only thing that was going to affect me recording this podcast. But luckily, I got over it. I had some movies that I was excited for today that kind of like got me out of that funk, and I decided that I decided I'm fine now. You know, I went through the stages of grief, and I'm ready to record.
Yes, every day is a new step forward.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
So, as we get into talking about the summer movie season 2026. Oh, yeah, by the way, that was a whole rabbit hole thing. But what I was bringing up is that earlier this year, a lot of experts were saying that 2026 was going to be the best year at the box office since the pandemic.
Really?
And when you look at the lineup we have, especially just this summer, I mean, the whole year, it's great. But when you look at this summer, we got some really exciting stuff coming out.
Yeah, it feels to me like there's like a little bit of spectacle again, like things that people would go to the theater for.
Yes.
Which is interesting. Exciting for this show, certainly. And that's why I think it's cool that maybe we're starting in a little bit of a new format where we talk about upcoming movies, more in terms of like the next season that's coming up, like this summer movie preview. So.
Oh yes, and we will for the people wondering, what does this mean? You're not going to talk about Avengers Doomsday? Well. Look, let's be honest. We probably will slip in a little Avengers Doomsday, but we'll try to do a fall-winter episode later.
Yeah, we'll do that. I mean, without further ado, I mean, summer is obviously a time for a lot of movies, so we should get started.
We should.
Yeah. And we're considering that we debated whether May counts. I think for movies it counts.
Yes.
So that technically means that the first Friday movie release of the summer of this 2026 summer of movies, May 1st, which happens to fall on a Friday. Do you have anything that's coming out May 1st? Otherwise, I can do mine, which is kind of a weird one to start with.
I do not. But now I'm curious. You raised my curiosity. What is the one that's going to kick off our summer movie preview?
It's a weird one to start with. And I think I mean, we didn't end up doing an upcoming episode, but I remember starting to do research for one and thinking like, I don't know if I care about bringing this up. I don't think either of us really care about this. It's an animated movie, but I did. There was something about it.
I've heard of it.
There was something about it that piqued my interest to actually bring it up. It's the animated Animal Farm movie. Out May 1st. So there are a couple things that made this interesting to talk about to me. One is, I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but it looks...
I did see it. They played it in front of Zootopia and Wicked 2.
Okay. It looks pretty bad, basically.
Yes, it does. I'm not to throw anyone under the bus, but I will. I wasn't expecting much when I saw it was from Angel Studios.
That's exactly what because I didn't think it was interesting to bring up. And then I was like, wait, it's being distributed by Angel Studios?
Yes.
That's exactly what made me like, okay, I think I have to bring this up now because on some research, it felt like maybe it was a little. I was debating whether it was unfair to bring up because technically it's just a distributor. Like they didn't animate it, but like
they're not the production company.
Yeah, they're a distributor. But you look at Angel Studios distribution, and the only other stuff they've distributed is like conservative kind of Christian nationalist media.
I remember when we did our CinemaCon special last year, which will probably be our next comment section episode. I remember going to the panels, like, because if you go on the website, it shows the panels.
Yeah.
I remember being like, well, skipping Angel Studios.
Yeah, they've come out with such hits as Sound of Freedom, and the only other animated movies they've distributed, as far as I can tell, is The King of Kings and David. As in, like, David and Goliath.
Did I tell you? Awkward Christmas moment was because I have a relative who knows I do stuff like this podcast.
Yeah.
It was just like I mentioned, I think I was looking forward to Zootopia 2.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, are you going to see David?" I said, "God, no." No. Angel Studios? No way.
Yeah.
Are they going to get to the real part, to the real interesting stuff where he had an affair? I doubt it.
Yeah.
I want to see David just like do some really bad stuff, not just throw a stone at some giant.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I found it because you see it's based on a classic novel by George Orwell. It's produced by and directed by Andy Serkis, and it's starring a pretty impressive cast.
Lord of the Rings, Andy Serkis?
Yes. So you look at that and it's like that seems like something that could be good, but then it seems to have went through a little bit of a maybe production hell kind of thing, and then it's like I think there was 3 animation studios that worked on it, which is not a good sign. And then this seemingly like last minute switch to like being distributed by Angel Studios, and that's the most bizarre fact of it all to me. I mean, needless to say, the trailer is basically like they turned Animal Farm into like sort of a fart jokes movie. It's really
it looks very Despicable Me almost.
Yeah, it's sort of like maybe missing the point a little because just because it has talking animals doesn't mean it's for kids. So like kind of making it a kid friendly like fart joke movie just doesn't really make sense.
By the way, I think we should mention, have you read the book?
I think I remember reading it I don't think I know we read it in school. I just know that I wasn't that good about actually reading the books in school.
Okay. I was in a class where we skipped over it.
Oh, really?
So I have no idea what Animal Farm is about.
Yeah. Like other George Orwell stuff, I think it's ultimately like profound, but gets heavily misinterpreted, like 1984, where it's just anyone can say anything is like 1984, if according to their worldview. So I think Animal Farm is similar, where it's heavily misinterpreted. But yeah, we'll see. I found the story of this movie kind of interesting, and so maybe we'll see. I personally won't be going to see it, but if anyone is, you might be starting your summer movie season off with a bang.
Yes. Although I will say, the fact that it's Angel Studios as the distributor makes me think, man, everyone else probably passed on it. So how bad is it?
Yeah, that's exactly. It comes across to me as like, yeah, maybe it's like just because like they're only the distributor, but
yeah,
it does say something to me that like, why couldn't they find another distributor? You know,
even like not even the big guys. Like it didn't go to Lionsgate. It didn't go to A24. It went to Angel.
Yeah, exactly. So I do think that's significant.
Yes,
pretty interesting. But yeah, again, that's Animal Farm.
Yes, we'll see what the reviews are.
Yeah,
probably coming out the day before the movie.
Yeah, probably. So what's next on our list? Do you have any? What else in May do you have? Do you have anything May 8th, May 15?
I do not. My next one is May 22nd.
Okay.
And it's only a really short thing to bring up.
Okay.
All right, you didn't have anything
before
then, right?
Nothing else.
Okay, guys. This used to be a topic we would bring up a bit, and it's been a while. But we're going to bring it up for the first time in, 7 years. You know, there's going to be a new Star Wars movie in theaters.
Oh,
That's right, on May 22nd. By the way, I completely understand that you forgot, because I forgot too. The Mandalorian and Grogu, the first Star Wars movie since 2019's Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. You know what? I know everyone else hated it. I liked The Rise of Skywalker, but, maybe I'll have to turn off the comments section of this video because I said that.
Look, I've said worse things.
Yes. Although it does seem like you see more people outraged now over Rise of Skywalker than Last Jedi, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're both, people are outraged over both. So,
yes.
But yeah, The Rise of Skywalker, I think, was the nail in the coffin for a lot of people. And it's amazing that was the most recent Star Wars movie.
Yes.
It felt like we were getting Star Wars all the time, and then
it just went away.
Nothing until
in a way,
this.
we have been getting Star Wars, but on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So new Star Wars movie. Will I be seeing it? No, because I almost debate about bringing this up, but I do think it poses an interesting topic about, as we've seen Disney Plus connect with movies, both Star Wars and Marvel.
Yeah.
Because, I've only seen, 4 episodes of The Mandalorian, so I will have no idea what's going on. And look, that's not saying that, that a Mandalorian and Grogu movie shouldn't exist, but, your first one in 7 years? This is what you're going to do? One where, you gotta do homework ahead of time?
Yeah.
So that just really brings up an issue that we've been seeing with Marvel. We're gonna see it with Star Wars. DC's falling into the same trap. So, yeah. And, from what I've been seeing, because I can't comment a lot because I've only seen a few episodes of The Mandalorian, and, what I've seen is, pretty good. I'm not Mandalorian. But, I'm like, you know what? That was pretty good. I wish there were some lightsabers, but, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But just from what I've been seeing online, you can sense that people's hype around this Mandoverse that was Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, you can tell it has really died down. Like, it just feels like a lot of people online are over it. And I don't know if you saw it. Did you see people were very upset about the Super Bowl ad they did for this movie?
I didn't, but I guess I'm not surprised. But what were they upset about?
People were, like, hyped for, like, all right, we're going to get an idea of what this movie's actually about.
Yeah.
And instead, the whole spot was a parody of the old Budweiser horse commercial, both Mandalorian and Grogu.
Okay.
That's it.
Not about the movie, really.
Yeah, no actual footage of the movie. And I think a lot of the commentary I saw is that Lucasfilm is overestimating how much people are still invested in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I could see that because I don't feel totally in tune with it, but my impression is the same as yours, that hype around The Mandalorian has died down. And in a way, maybe I am a poster child for it because I don't think I ended up making it to the end of the first season, and at that point, that was kind of like the end of the season of my life where I was really into Star Wars, where I just sort of like my interest in Mandalorian faded out, and then there are no new movies. Rise of Skywalker ended up disappointing me on reflection more than anything. And then I was just sort of like, and it's part of the reason, twofold why I didn't really have this on my list is, one, yes, because it's a Mandalorian movie, and I am like, I don't think I'm gonna catch up on Mandalorian. Like, I just don't feel like it. And therefore,
it's not just Mandalorian. You'd also have to catch up on like Boba Fett and Ahsoka too.
Yeah, I'd have to catch up on a lot.
60 hours.
Yeah. And then the other reason is because, Star Wars would have to really impress me with something, or really, they'd have to just catch my eye in some way in order for me to be a more active fan again.
Yeah. So I guess, maybe I'll bring up something that will like get people upset. But I'm just curious. It's just my opinion. Because, if I don't share my honest opinion, what's the point of doing this show?
Yeah.
I kind of have a problem with Star Wars compared to, like, other franchises. And that problem is, like, when you get a Batman movie, right? He'll fight the Joker. And, like, the next one, he'll fight Catwoman and Penguin, right? And then later, Two-Face and Riddler. I kind of got this issue with Star Wars it feels like everything they do is kind of pointless, because it feels like every story they do is, we have the main trilogy, right? We have the main trilogy. We're going to focus on what someone else was doing at that same time.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like I got this one video game for PlayStation 5 that's really, really cool. It's the one, it has the guy who played Joker in Gotham, but like you're a Jedi or something.
Oh, it's wait, then the name is slipping me, but it's
I can't remember what it was, but I'm assuming you know what I'm talking about. It's really cool.
Yeah,
you know what? You can choose the color of your lightsaber, and I love that. That awesome. I picked green because I think it looked cool.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm like, this is cool, but it doesn't matter. He's going to fight Darth Vader, but it doesn't matter. He's not the hero of this story. Luke Skywalker is. Like, it just feels like everything is kind of pointless. Like, it doesn't matter what they do. They're not going to defeat the bad guy. Luke Skywalker will. Like, it almost feels like, if we're going to do DC as an example, it feels like, okay, here's Green Arrow trying to fight the Joker. here's the Flash trying to fight the Joker. It doesn't matter because Batman's going to be the one to defeat the Joker. So that's kind of like, I can't get excited for Star Wars because it just feels like it would have felt normal back in the day if we had like continued what thing will Luke, Han, and Leia and Chewie do next. But it just feels like every Star Wars thing just feels kind of pointless. That's just my opinion.
I get what you're saying. Like, I almost feel like it's like, it's almost like I could see that maybe Star Wars is stuck in like being afraid to go in one of two directions. The two directions being one, like essentially reboot, so the hero is still Luke Skywalker and the stakes are the same, or the other angle is separate it even more so they don't feel overshadowed by the original trilogy. Like, create new stakes. There's a different kind of war going on.
Let's have a bad guy that's not the Empire.
Yeah. So yeah, I can see where that would be an issue. Yeah. On the other hand, it's like, they're deepening the lore, but I don't know. At the end of the day, does it make it just so like it enhances the original trilogy and like that's all it does? Like, it's not valuable on its own. It just enhances the original trilogy, like the lore of the original trilogy. I don't know. Maybe someday this will be an excited for Star Wars podcast again, but it looks like it isn't at the moment.
Yeah, sorry, Star Wars fans. Although, to be fair, we're more positive than most Star Wars fans.
Yeah, that is true. I technically probably like more Star Wars movies than most Star Wars fans.
Yes. Yeah. So before we move on from a galaxy far, far away, one question to ask, because I think it's an important question, a valid question to ask. Will this beat Solo as the least successful Star Wars movie? I kind of think catching up on homework, the fact that this is the first one in 7 years, and also the inescapable fact that the box office has not fully recovered from the pandemic and the strikes, I think this will be the least successful one. And also coming off, we didn't mention this earlier, from what I've seen, a lot of people did not like the latest season of The Mandalorian. So you have some baggage there too. So I think this will probably be the least successful one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it totally will be or close. I think that's actually pretty safe to say.
Oh, yes. So that was May 22nd, The Mandalorian Grogu. Have fun to you who will go. Maybe I'll try to catch it on Disney+. So, are there any other ones in May you had in mind?
No, I think we're done with May already, unless you have another one. But
oh, I do not, so you know what that means. We're moving on to June. That's right.
Absolutely. The month where summer actually starts, the summer solstice.
Yes.
So the first Friday in June is June 5th. I do have one that day.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, this is a short one too because I almost didn't want to bring it up because it's not a franchise. This is starting off bad, but it's not a franchise I like. But
guys, eventually we will get to Spider-Man. I promise.
Yes, yeah. Bear with us. But I've never been a fan of the Scary Movie franchise. It's dumb humor. Like, unfortunately, I'm a little bit too pretentious of a person to like slop humor. Like, I can't get there.
You mean like Huck?
Yeah. Well,
is this up Huck's alley?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But Scary Movie.
Someday we'll have to have a trailer reaction.
Yeah, it's Scary Movie 6, but it's just called Scary Movie. Is out June 5th. And, of course, so Scary Movie is a horror parody franchise. And that's really why I wanted to bring it up, because I was curious. So there hasn't been a like this is the first scary movie sequel. It's been a very long time. Crap. I thought I had it up. It's been like
Oh, I have it up. Last
10 or
one was
15
2013.
years. Yeah, okay. So it's been over 10 years. So I was very... even though I don't like the franchise because the style of humor is not for me, and seeing the trailer, I was like, yeah, this style of humor is very not for me. I do not like the style of humor. But
it's from the Wayans brothers.
Yeah. But I do still have a morbid curiosity to see what scary movies they are parodying. So I wanted to like watch the trailer and see if I could just pick out like all the parodies that I could pick out. And because like I feel like the last 10 or so years of horror movies has actually kind of been my favorite era of horror movies. So cool to see some more modern parodies, and I consider parody an act of love. So that's why I respect it, even though I don't like the humor. But ones I caught looking at the trailer, Megan, Scream, of course, Wednesday, Smile, Weapons, Long Legs, so some very recent stuff like Weapons. The Substance, Terrifier, and Get Out. I also those are just what I caught in the trailers because they're recognizable to me and I've seen most of those. Upon looking up, I guess there's also going to be Sinners, Ma, Halloween, Nope, A Quiet Place. I think Stranger Things I read. And then I thought
some of these you kind of wonder, are they just parodying what they saw in the trailer? Because some of these are really recent.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible they're just parodying. I mean, like with Weapons, you could just do kids running in a weird way down the street, and that was in the trailer. So, yeah, very, very recent. But because I don't care about this franchise, I decide to answer my own rabbit hole question, which is like, if I were to see a horror movie, like if there were a horror movie I would want to see parodied, like my number one hope to see parodied, for me it'd probably be Hereditary. I think I saw that rumored anyway, but yeah, for me it would be Hereditary.
Rumored for this movie?
Yes, as a parody, because it is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think maybe the scariest movie I've ever seen, mostly because it's so deeply, genuinely disturbing, and part of me thinks that would almost make parodying it even better because it's so dark and disturbing that it feels like kind of like a demented act to even parody what happens in the movie, which makes it even all the funnier. So that would be my number one hope for like a parody that I think would be very funny. And like maybe you could do kind of a spoof on Toni Collette's performance in it, which is one of the all-time great performances in a horror movie. But the last note I left on this, because I rewatched the trailer again, and I just wrote, honestly, The Simpsons does better horror parodies than that. So, like, honestly, you could just watch a Treehouse of Horror to get fun.
Yeah.
Like, I could say the same thing about, like, what would I want to see parodied in a Treehouse of Horror sometime. And I'm sure it would be a lot funnier, or at least more my sense of humor. But yeah, Scary Movie 6.
Oh, yes, and that is
June
5th. Oh, right, you said
5th.
That's right.
All right.
So, we bring up the calendar. My next one is June 19th. I don't know if you have one.
I don't.
Okay. This one is the 5th movie in a franchise. That's right, animated franchise.
Wow.
This is where we talk about stuff we actually care about.
Cool. We're finally there. 30 minutes in.
Yes. And that is on June 19th. We are getting Toy Story 5. That's right. So, in this film, the toys have to deal with Bonnie becoming obsessed with her tablet called LilyPad. So that's what this movie is about. Now, the movie does have some baggage going into it.
Okay.
We know that it's coming off of 2 bad movies in the franchise with Toy Story 4 and Lightyear, because that still is a Toy Story movie.
I always forget about Lightyear.
I do too.
Yeah.
You know, I said to myself, I'm going to try to watch it before Toy Story 5. Because hypothetically, if Toy Story 5 is good, I don't want to then watch Lightyear and have that be my newest experience.
Yeah, that's true.
I said I was going to do it, I'm going to do it January or February. It's the end of March, and I still haven't gotten around to it. I'm dreading it, but I'm going to try to sit through it.
Yeah.
Also, outside of Inside Out 2, Pixar has struggled with most of the recent films being underwhelming or forgettable. Now, there is one definitely very good sign, and that is that Andrew Stanton, who co-wrote the first 2 films, is directing this movie. Now, some of his previous credits include co-directing A Bug's Life, and he also directed Finding Nemo, WALL-E, and Finding Dory. And there was also another thing that also gave me comfort. Not just comfort, excitement. You know, what outside of Woody and Buzz, my favorite character in the Toy Story franchise is Mr. Potato Head. And unfortunately, we lost Don Rickles years ago, and for the 4th one, they just used old recordings of him. Well, when the trailer was released, they announced who they got to take over as Mr. Potato Head. And I said, yes, yes, yes! I don't know if you know who it is.
I don't. I don't know. I haven't heard who it is. I'll see if I know who it is.
You won't know the name. It is legendary voice actor Jeff Bergman.
Okay.
So Jeff Bergman is one of the current voices. Now listen to this list. He is one of the current voices of Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Sylvester, Tweety, Foghorn Leghorn, Elmer Fudd, Fred Flintstone, Barney Rubble, and Yogi Bear. This guy is
quite a list.
Freaking legend.
Quite a list.
I think I mentioned it on this show before. His audition for when he was the first guy to take over as Bugs Bunny after Mel Blanc. And when he auditioned for the role, he took audio of himself, audio of Mel Blanc as Bugs Bunny, played them both, and the people he was auditioning for couldn't tell who was who.
Wow.
That's the legend of Jeff Bergman. And there's this great video that Jim Cummings, another voice actor, posted on YouTube of Jeff going through all his voices. It's amazing. It's great.
Wow.
He was also the Joker in the 2 animated Batman movies that brought back Adam West and Burt Ward. So, yes, he was also Cesar Romero's Joker. And also, when I was watching the trailer, this is how great Jeff Bergman is. When I was watching the trailer and Mr. Potato Head spoke, in my head, I didn't even realize it was another person doing it.
Yeah, wow.
That's Jeff Bergman.
So he's almost like, the talent of, really being able to make your voice do anything, including completely mimic other people. That's awesome.
Yes, he just nailed it with that one line. And when I found it was him, I was like, that is the best possible person to do it, because I love the dude.
Yeah, love to see them getting a true voice actor too, instead of
yes,
stunt casting.
Especially Mr. Potato Head, who delivers some of the best comedic moments in the franchise.
Yeah.
So the premise of now also another thing that I think goes in the positive sections is that the premise of a tablet feels very timely. Kid obsessed with a tablet, not playing with the toys. And it also feels like it lines up with the franchise's overall theme of change, right? Mm-hmm. First one, Woody having to accept the change of Buzz becoming like one of Andy's favorites. Second one, the fear of change, of what was going to one day happen when Andy grew up. And then the third one, having to deal with that. So that was, it felt like it fits with the overall theme. Now, I believe it was a month ago they released the first trailer for Toy Story 5. Have you seen the trailer for Toy Story 5?
No.
Oh. Well, I'll just give my thoughts on the trailer. I gotta say, not impressed.
Okay.
I am not a fan of the trailer. And I realized that when watching this trailer, you know what my biggest takeaway was from this trailer? I hate Bonnie. I hate Bonnie. She is a horrible, horrible little brat. In fact, I would almost say she is the most evil villain of the whole franchise. Like, they just completely ruined her from the way she was in Toy Story 3. When we saw her in Toy Story 3, we felt okay with Andy leaving the toys with her because she was going to take care of them, especially Woody. And they've just completely just butchered that character since, where I don't care that she's not paying attention to the toys. You knew this would happen because she's a horrible, horrible person. And when Jessie says, I'm losing Bonnie, I say, I don't care. Good. Let her go. Cut off this toxic relationship.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, you know, when the toys are talking about we were working to help Bonnie make new friends, I see why she has no friends. She's a weirdo. Her favorite toy is a spork. Like, she's a freak. And also, in the trailer, another concerning thing is, by the way, after they butchered Bonnie, another concerning thing, Forky. I hate Forky. The Jar Jar Binks of the Toy Story franchise. We see in this trailer, it opens with, like, Bonnie having the toys play like a wedding. Like, Jessie is like the minister giving a wedding. And who is the groom? Oh, it's Forky. Because Forky is always the center of Bonnie's universe. And once again, when Woody returned, he was the butt of Forky's jokes. Because now in the trailer, they make a joke about how the paint on the back of Woody's head is scraped a little bit. So they make a joke about how he's balding. I could have accepted that from Mr. Potato Head, or Slinky Dog, or Rex, or Buzz Lightyear. But after the fourth movie, I can't accept something like that from Forky. It's just, because that's what the whole movie was last time. The whole movie was throwing Woody under the bus to prop up Forky. So I couldn't accept that. And another thing from this trailer is, look, maybe it'll make sense in context, but why in the fifth movie does it seem like Woody and Buzz are fighting again? Like, what are we doing, guys? And here's another thing to bring up. Almost like, this one is like a little bit of a thinker. I think that, I mentioned earlier, that I think that bringing in the issue of like tablets and technology is an interesting one that feels both timely and fits with the movie's overall theme. But I do kind of wonder, can that story have a satisfying resolution, since it's something that we in real life have not come up with a solution for yet? And a bigger question outside of that, can modern Pixar come up with a satisfying conclusion to that? Because, and by modern Pixar, I mean, and I hate to bring up this name, we're going to get a little uncomfortable. It has to be brought up. But can a Pixar without John Lasseter come up with it? Now look, John Lasseter had to go because of what because of what came out. He had to go. They made the right decision in firing him. He did that to himself. But you can't ignore the fact that John Lasseter was Pixar in the way that Stan Lee was Marvel, George Lucas was Star Wars. John Lasseter was Pixar. So can a Pixar without him, under Pete Docter, that has struggled, come up with a satisfying resolution to this story? I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they can. And I'll bring up this real quick before I turn to your thoughts about Toy Story 5. I think, now look, people talked about should the franchise have ended at number 3. I find it so interesting how like some fans are like, no, leave everything alone. Don't touch it. Because if, I swear, some fans today would say, no, you can't bring back Batman. The Adam West show is perfect. Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Oh my God, don't make Empire Strikes Back. Star Wars is perfect as it is. Don't touch it. I do think that it feels like people want to take one extreme when it is a case-by-case basis. I think that the Toy Story characters could be like Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny, and Scooby-Doo and go on forever. And The Simpsons. But where the film series is now, it has way too much baggage. We have Andy growing up and leaving, which they wouldn't have done had they known they were going to continue the series after 3. We have Bonnie being unlikable. We have Woody leaving at the end of number 4. So now every sequel, you're going to have to do this whole explanation of him coming back. And you also have Forky being Bonnie's favorite. And also a lot of the smaller characters from the first 2 movies are now gone, like the blue binoculars or the RC car. And I think these characters could continue. But I do think that we need to close the book on this continuity. Mm-hmm. I think that if Disney wants these characters to continue, and I think that that's what they want, we kind of need to go the Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny route. We have to let go of continuity. We have to just let it go and not have the baggage. Like, when the Day the Earth Blew Up came out, right? The Porky Pig and Daffy Duck movie. And it was all about how their house is falling apart and they don't have money. We didn't have to deal with, well, how do they not have money? We just saw them play basketball with LeBron James. They should be millionaires, right? I think if we're going to continue, and by the way, 30 years, it's time to let it go. I think if we're going to continue it, and I think these characters could continue, I think what's best is we follow, Bugs Bunny, Mickey Mouse, The Simpsons, Scooby-Doo. Let go of the continuity. Just tell your story. Don't worry. All you have to really do is set it after the first movie. Like, we've established the characters, and just go. Everyone knows who these characters are. Just go. Don't worry about what happens in 3 and 4. Just set it back in Andy's room. If you need Forky, fine. Andy has Forky, whatever. You want Jesse and all them, cool, whatever. But I think if we're going to continue it, we got to do a Simpsons or a Looney Tunes and just let go of the continuity. So that's really what I have for Toy Story 5. I'll say, to compare it to another Disney movie, Avengers Doomsday, I started kind of being like, I don't know about Doomsday. And the more that information has come out about it, it's gotten me excited. Like, I am on board for Avengers Doomsday now. With Toy Story 5, I was like, maybe. But everything we've seen come out from it, I'm like, I don't know. I don't think this is it. So, you have not seen the trailer for Toy Story 5.
No.
But what are your thoughts about Toy Story 5 coming out on June 19th?
Yeah, and no real thoughts from me because, I don't plan on seeing it. I hadn't seen 4, certainly hadn't seen Lightyear, but It did it. Yeah, but I agree about the continuity thing. It did get me thinking, like, and this is part of the reason I am not seeing it is because while I used to be, Pixar's biggest fan, I've slowly just been like, I don't care anymore. I don't even have any particular I haven't seen most of the new Pixar movies, so I can't even say whether I think it's gotten worse.
Last one I saw in theaters was Toy Story 4.
Oh wow,
7 years ago.
Yeah. But yeah, it is funny that like at the beginning of this podcast, it was Star Wars and Pixar for me. Those were like my topics, and over the years, it's just a new season of life awaits me, and it doesn't include seeing Pixar movies, which Toy Story. Probably not for me anymore. But if we still like keep that just isolate the trilogy of 1, 2, and 3, like we've talked about before, one of the best trilogies, like most solid trilogies of all time, really. And
by the way,
we still have
there's also
those.
a second great trilogy of Toy Story. They did 3 short films that went before other movies, and those are great.
Oh yeah. But yeah, nothing else on Toy Story 5 for me.
Oh, yes. Now, interesting that we talked about when this podcast started, because you did open up a little bit of a rabbit hole. When this podcast started, we were very like, yeah, Pixar, we can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened in the first, compared to the first year, was the removing of Lasseter, which again was his fault. It's all on him for why he had to go.
Mm-hmm.
And Pete Docter was put in an incredibly difficult position where he had to quickly assume the position from the guy.
Yeah.
And also they had the director of Frozen was head of Disney Animation for a while. Well, now she's gone and she's been replaced. We've talked about how we're just not excited for new Pixar. A lot of their stuff, really outside of Inside Out 2, has not worked. If Toy Story 5 is bad, is it time for Pete Docter to go? Do they need a new creative head? Because by that time, it will have been 7 years he's been the head. Is it time for him to go now, then, if this movie doesn't work? Especially when you consider this is their big franchise at Pixar. This is their Avengers. So, do you think it's maybe time for him to go? Because I would say yes. I do think it's time for him to go. He needs to go back to being a director.
Yeah. I mean, I think something clearly needs to change Pixar. At the same time, though, I recognize that, there's maybe a difference between what I think needs to happen at Pixar and what is or isn't working for them. Like, if they were just genuinely trying to go for a different kind of thing, that would be one thing. It's like, I guess it's unclear to me whether this is like an objective failure that the public is responding to like it's an objective failure. Like,
well,
pretty sure they're usually still successful, maybe less so.
Not like they were. Let me bring it up real quick. List of Pixar films. Let's see if it has the box office. Okay, so we'll just go through the list real quick. So Toy Story 4 made $1 billion. Onward, which you really can't count. We'll skip Onward, Soul, and Luca because that was during the pandemic. And Turning Red was pandemic. So Lightyear made $226 million. Elemental, $496 million. Inside Out 2, $1 billion. Elio, $153 million. Hoppers, $242 million. So you see that box office wise it's gone down, and if you look at their Rotten Tomatoes score is still pretty good. Not like it was, but Lightyear 74, Elemental 73, Inside Out 93, Elio 83, Hoppers I don't get 93. I haven't seen it, but that shocks me. But we see, compared to what they were, Toy Story, $1 billion, Incredibles 2, $1 billion, Coco, $800 million. Cars 3 only did $383 million? Oh, that's shocking. Finding Dory, $1 billion. They used to, it was billion.
Yeah.
Now it's just like 400, 200. It's, the audience is rejecting it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, yeah, I think it's safe to say they're due for a change, some kind of shakeup to either get back to their former glory or find a new glory. I don't know, one or the other.
Oh, yes. Now, before we move on from Toy Story, I do have one thing to bring up that I just noticed in the trailer. Now, in the trailer, it shows what appears to be a flashback of Emily playing with Jessie. Remember Emily, who gave up Jessie in Toy Story 2? Mm-hmm. She put her in the box to the Goodwill or whatever.
Yeah.
Then in the trailer, we also see a shot of Bonnie looking at Jessie in a very similar way that Andy looked at Jessie before he gave Woody, or Andy looked at Woody before he gave Woody away to Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
Is this movie going to end? By the way, it feels like we're at a cycle now where every few movies they get new owners. Toy Story 5, do you think they'll get new owners? Because I think they will.
Yeah, I mean, especially with them trying to keep a continuity, it feels like that's also something they're due for since, significant time has passed. So
yes. All right, so there we have it for Toy Story 5. Look, I hope it's good. I root for it to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just what I'm seeing isn't getting me excited. All right, so did you have the next weekend? Oh, this is the next weekend, June 26th. Did you have anything for June 26th?
No.
Well, this one, again, is kind of going to be a quick one to bring up.
Mm-hmm.
Not much to say about it. But on June 26th, we had the release of Supergirl. That's right, the second installment of the new DC universe. So this movie will follow Kara on her 23rd birthday. She meets a young girl named Ruthie Mayer Null and encounters a tragedy that leads her on a murderous quest for revenge. And it's based on the 2021 miniseries Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which was its original title, and they switched it to Supergirl, which I think is probably the better choice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that after Superman, a Supergirl movie is a good idea to have that as your next movie, because it will expand the Superman side of your DC universe. And it really feels like right now what they have at DC, that Superman is kind of their main guy, and it's all built around him. And also, Supergirl recently has been in the spotlight more because you had her CW TV show that ran for 6 years, and she also appeared in Smallville and the Flash movie. And another thing that, a lot of fans are looking forward to is Jason Momoa will make his debut as Lobo, which I think, whatever you think about this upcoming movie, Jason Momoa as Lobo, that's pretty much perfect casting. That is like Robert Downey Jr. or Ryan Reynolds type casting. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like David Cornsweet will appear in the movie. I think I heard how much it is, but I won't say because it might be a spoiler, so I won't say. But it does. If he does show up, it does make sense to show that these movies are connected. And I would be interested in seeing David Cornsweet as Superman with a different director besides James Gunn. Because overall, I thought he was okay as Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is an important movie for James Gunn since it's the first one he hasn't directed. This is his first one really in the Kevin Feige type role, and will show how he is with a studio head with a different filmmaker. Now, I'm not going to lie. I have no interest in this movie. I don't plan on seeing it, but we're bringing it up here. I'm not interested in this James Gunn universe, especially after Superman. So I watched the trailer, did not like it, and despite being directed by Craig Gillespie, who actually did a really good job with the Cruella movie for Disney that starred Emma Stone, which was also the first movie I saw in theaters after the pandemic, so always have a soft spot for that. It felt like in this Supergirl trailer, it was just imitating Gunn's style, and we see in the trailer that it continues Gunn's annoying juvenile humor with, "Oh joy, Crypto's in this movie. Yay." And what does he do in the opening of the trailer? Oh, he pees on a picture of Superman. Yippee. This is what you wanted, guys. Yippee. When all you were like, James Gunn's gonna be great, this is what you wanted, and you got it. Oh, I feel like I warned you. But whatever. Also, Lobo is a character like Deadpool, where if he isn't used right, he can be very annoying. Like, there was this movie that came out, animated movie, Superman Man of Tomorrow, which I really do enjoy, but Lobo is pretty irritating in that movie. And look, in general, I have no interest in this movie and don't plan to see it because when you get down to it, it's a spin-off of a Superman movie I hated. So I have absolutely no interest in it. And I've said before, it's really going to take Batman to get me to give the DCU another shot. And who knows? Maybe under the new leadership, that Batman movie has already been made in 2022. So, yeah. So I think a Supergirl movie, great idea. I would love to see a new Supergirl movie. This one, I plan to skip. So, any thoughts on the new Supergirl movie that comes out in June?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I still haven't seen Superman, so it's sort of like I would definitely like it. I'm not going to see this unless I happen to see that sometime soon. So not a ton of thoughts. Although, I mean, here's the thing I'm conflicted at. Like, I'm starting to be on a bit of a DC kick because of the Absolute series, and you know, it piques my interest for, like, you know, I mean, again, out of the context of all of your thoughts and everything about the Superman movie, it's like, oh, there's a Superman movie that's newer that I haven't seen. So my interest is there, and including for the Supergirl movie. But I also don't know if I don't like it, maybe that'll just stop my interest, my DC kick in its tracks. Like, maybe I'll just be like...
Well, I can say the Absolute universe is very different from the James Gunn universe.
I can tell.
Especially because, have you only read Batman?
Yeah, although I'm going to start Wonder Woman soon, so...
I mean, it would be different if, like, you're going to a Batman movie, but, like...
Yeah, no, very different.
It's very... Here's the thing about Batman. Batman is a very tough character to get wrong. Right? You can do the Adam West show. You can do Michael Keaton. You can do the first two Christian Bales. You can do Ben Affleck. You can do Robert Pattinson. Batman is such a tough character to get wrong. Like, when you hear, like, the interviews of people like William Dozier, who did the 60s show, or Tim Burton, he didn't grow up a comic book fan. Christopher Nolan, as we've learned, does not really know much about Batman. But it's hard to get wrong because you can just do anything with that character. Look, 80 years of adaptations, only one movie really got the character wrong. Regardless of how you feel about other movies, whether you're talking about like Batman versus Superman, whatever, only one movie, The Dark Knight Rises, actually got the character wrong. Versus, like, you know, Superman is a bit tougher. I don't get it because Superman is just combining Captain America and Spider-Man, but yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's another thing that unfortunately there isn't enough enthusiasm from us on this Supergirl movie. But hey, I think we're about halfway through the episode and we've still got some big things to get to. So,
yes.
I hope everyone can stick with us because we still promise we're getting to Spider-Man.
Yes. By the way, since you brought up Absolute, I recently picked up Absolute Batman Volume 2. And I've read the two-part Mr. Freeze story.
Yeah.
When it came out, but I didn't read the Bane storyline, so very soon I'll be getting into that.
I'll be about caught up with you. I have Volume 2 right over there.
Oh, you already have it?
Yes, with I have a bookmark at the beginning. I was gonna start it any day now.
Okay.
But yeah, very good stuff.
I heard a lot of people liked the Bane storyline, so you know I did skip. I did skip though. I knew that I think Bane ends at issue 14. I think 15 they talked about that it was gonna be the start of it was a Joker issue.
Yeah.
And I read the description and I was just like, I've read enough comics to know that this issue is really just gonna be all Joker, no Batman. So I'll wait until they meet each other.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's more like I'll wait to get that in a trade.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if I've said on here. Read Absolute Wonder Woman 14, the first crossover between Wonder Woman and Batman. It was awesome. It was awesome. Anyone who reads those books should check it out. It was really good.
Yeah, since they do crossover, I picked the right two to start with.
Yes. You also go in chronological order, too.
Yeah.
All right, so looks like I'm now into July.
Yeah, we're into July now, so deep into properly summer now, for sure.
Yes.
Scorching weather.
Oh, my God. Just get your sunscreen out.
Yeah, what better way to go? What better way to go into an air-conditioned movie theater?
Yes, that's right.
Which starts with the Friday of July 3rd, or I don't know if you have anything 3rd or 10th, or
I have 1/10 one that will be very, very short to bring up.
Yeah, my next one is the 17th, so we'll
me
go
too.
It's probably the same one. So
okay.
But yeah, let's talk about July 10th.
All right, so July 10th, there's going to be another live-action Disney remake. You know what I saw people on Twitter talk about?
Oh, what?
We were so close after Snow White to being done with these.
Oh, yeah.
And then you jerks helped Lilo and Stitch make $1 billion. We were so close.
Yeah.
But, yeah, July 10th, we're getting a Moana live-action remake. The quickest, I must say, between animated and cartoon at just 10 years. I don't know. Have you seen the original Moana?
Yeah, I've seen Moana.
Okay. So it's a live-action remake of the 2016 animated film. Dwayne Johnson reprises his role as Maui in the movie. You can see that in the trailer. I'm not going to lie. This might get some people upset. I don't really like Moana. I found it a bit boring. It's just them on a boat.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Moana being a movie that I felt bad that I didn't like it more. I kind of just found it okay.
Yeah.
I particularly found the music just didn't do it for me at all. Like a lot of newer musical movie music is kind of overproduced and doesn't have the same charm as older stuff.
Was it Lin-Manuel Miranda who did the music for this?
Yes, yeah. So that's also a certain, certain taste there that he's. I remember wishing I'd liked it more.
Yeah, that is a perfect description. I wish I liked it more.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not a big fan of the movie, so I'm not interested in what is pretty much guaranteed to be a subpar remake. So
yeah,
I'll just say I saw the trailer. Honestly, it does look like the animated film come to life. So if you like the animated film, I saw it has a mixed reaction. I don't know how you're not like, yup, that's what it is. It's the cartoon live action. So
yeah,
I think in terms of adapting it from cartoon to live action, I think they did a really good job visually with it. So yeah, but this is one I plan to skip.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I mean, we talk about these movies so much, and I don't know how much I've said it this way particularly, but it does seem odd to me. Like, to me, it seems like such a clear downgrade to make something live action. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. Like, animation is harder, and it's like a work of art come to life.
Yeah, like, you have to really get the story down, because every minute, every second of screen time is so expensive and so time consuming.
So it's all, I think, the more I've year over year thought about these live action remakes, I'm just like, these are re-releasing downgrades. They're releasing a lazier version of it. I mean, that's the least charitable way to put it, but that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah. Again, like, I don't even really consider them real movies. They're just disposable events. It's just something to do.
Yeah, they're writing checks.
Yeah. But honestly, look, I wouldn't mind just skipping a live action remake and just doing a re-release of the original.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
What would this year's be? I think Pocahontas, 96? Or would that be Hunchback? It'd be Hunchback. Oh, man, I would love to see that on the big screen again.
Awesome.
Where's that live action remake? That one would actually make sense.
Yeah, it's almost like amazing that it was animated to begin with.
Although, they'd probably turn it in, and they'd be like, oh, crap, we got an R rating. Oh, crap, guys.
Yeah.
You went way too far.
Yeah.
I think the original one's still rated G.
That's amazing.
It was shocking. Like,
what they need to do with Hunchback is do like Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, but for Hunchback.
Stop motion version?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Pinocchio is also a little bit of like if you tell it how it actually is, a really depressing story.
Yeah. Oh, do you remember how that Pinocchio and the Disney live action remake that was straight to Disney Plus with Tom Hanks came out around the same time?
Yeah.
And the Pinocchio with Tom Hanks is considered the worst live action remake.
Oh, yeah.
People hated it.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, I was vaguely aware of that, but yeah.
So, that's pretty much all I had for Moana. If we wanted to move on to July 17th.
So I'm curious if this is... So my explanation for the July 17th one is... On research, I figured that this movie was going to be one of the biggest movies of the year, and I wanted to do my due diligence to look into it because it felt like it would be... I actually had a feeling that you wouldn't bring it up because I don't know that you're a big fan of the director. Are we talking about the same movie? Yeah.
Me and this director, we got some issues.
Yes. So, July 17, we have The Odyssey from director Christopher Nolan.
That's right.
That's right. And you know what? I actually... part of the reason I think this is going to be one of the biggest movies of the year, other than the fact that it just kind of obviously is because there's a lot of hype around it, and it's a major release, and it's Christopher Nolan, and blah, blah, blah. But, like, vibe-wise, talking to people, this movie comes up a lot in conversations to me. Like, people are...
Really?
Legitimately... Like, I've had, I think, like, 3 people in conversation talk about how they're really excited for The Odyssey. And I don't typically hear that for any other movies, really. Like I like it, like repeatedly, like about the same movie. I think that this is what I was talking about earlier, that I think that there's like a Hollywood spectacle to this release that is kind of getting people excited and will actually drive people to theaters. Like I know a couple of people who say, like, I never go to theaters, but I'm going to go see that. I'm going to make myself go to a theater for the first time in years to see the Odyssey. Like, that's kind of the vibe that I was getting. And I was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I do think, yeah, it's because for me it was not something that I inherently cared about a ton. If that hadn't happened to me, where it was brought up a bunch, I probably would have never thought about it and then not seen it, because it just wouldn't have sparked enough interest to go see it independently. But because people have been talking about it, that did pique my interest. And the more I researched it, I wouldn't mind going to see it, I think. I kind of respect some of the decision-making behind making this a movie, and I agree that it seems like a pretty cool spectacle of a movie, that it might be kind of, dare I say, an Avatar-like experience. No. But in terms of, like, you gotta see it in theaters, otherwise what's the point kind of thing. But I think this
probably
seems
an IMAX
way better.
Screen or something.
I mean, to me, this is, like, obviously way better than that, because it's the Odyssey and it's a classic story, and
I believe the Odyssey and the Iliad are the two oldest surviving written things.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why I did, I was researching it, I was thinking about it, I was like, I do find it interesting and significant that there hasn't really been at least like a major Odyssey adaptation that I'm aware of that is like a classic that people reference. Obviously, there are adaptations, but
there's more. It feels like there's more the Iliad than there is the Odyssey.
Yeah. And I don't know. I was reading a bit, and I think one of the reasons I think there was maybe an interview with Christopher Nolan or something. I think he basically mentioned that he felt that there it is. That mythological films he grew up with didn't have serious Hollywood production. That they didn't really have the budget and like that Hollywood backing that something like the Odyssey would deserve. And so it kind of feels like he's trying to rectify that. And let's see. It's the most expensive movie of Nolan's career at $250 million. And getting into some of the details, it is a bit of a celebrity fest, which I guess
yes, it is.
I have mixed feelings on it. It sort of feels like with something like this,
$200 million budget, you gotta go all out and get as many as you can.
That's why it's sort of on two hands. On one hand, it's like, will I feel taken out of it because I see Tom Holland in it, or Matt Damon, but on the other hand, that thing of like giving it the Hollywood treatment it deserves. You're really making a Hollywood movie here, like, I mean, truly, because Matt Damon as Odysseus, you got Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, Charlize Theron, Mia Goth, Elliot Page. I mean, like, this is an absurd cast here. I mean, so yeah. I mean, if you're trying to make a capital H Hollywood, it's always capital H, it's Hollywood. If you're trying to make a capital H Hollywood production, you've done that here. That's for sure. So, and to try and make myself feel excited for it a bit, I was thinking, I was never a huge mythology head, or I never read the Odyssey. It was not something I remember covering in a class or anything. So, and I never had an interest, but I was thinking about it, and I do love stories that are either inspired by it or have the same story format of a trip home, like a big epic journey on a road trip movie would be a very broad way of putting it.
We went from Hollywood to Broadway.
Yeah, but I like so I mean, this is a more obvious. I was basically looking at there haven't been, we haven't seen the Odyssey movie, but what else is there in that sort of genre? And so I kind of made a list. One movie I've always loved is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Which is basically a loose adaptation of the Odyssey, but set in Great Depression American South. And that's a fun movie. So maybe the Odyssey can be fun, although very different. But I haven't seen it, but supposedly Apocalypse Now is the structure of the Odyssey, but in the Vietnam War. So it's kind of a different take on it. But then I was thinking of epic road tripper journey movies that I love. Obvious ones are Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, particularly The Hobbit. I mean, There and Back Again. So there's The Green Knight, which is Arthurian, but is a trip to somewhere and then home movie. Mad Max Fury Road. And I'm fuzzy on the plot, but I was looking up stuff with similar and road trip stuff, and Logan came up. I kind of forgot that was the plot. I haven't seen it in forever, but yeah. Kind of a road journey movie. So that was that list was my effort to try and connect things that I like and I think are exciting and cool in storytelling to get me excited to see the Odyssey, because I wasn't before. But I do think I'm excited about it now. I'm interested. And I don't have as complicated feelings about Christopher Nolan, because I do really, really like some of his movies. Some I don't care or am indifferent about, but I absolutely adore a couple of Christopher Nolan movies. I like Interstellar and Inception. So
yes,
yeah. Yeah, not as complicated of feelings on Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, so I guess I'll give my thoughts on the Odyssey, and in a little bit we'll get into the elephant in the room. But so yeah, I've always liked, not always, but I do like Greek mythology. I actually took a couple classes on it in college, and it was like my start of my weekend, because it was on a Thursday, and it was just it was legit almost like this. You just read it and just give your thoughts and interpretation. It was awesome. And so in one of those classes I read the Odyssey, and that was one of my favorite ones that we had to read for that class. Mm-hmm. I actually it was one of the few times I kept all those Greek mythology books. So I kept my copy of the Odyssey and the Iliad, even though we didn't read the Iliad in that class, and I read it over that summer just because I enjoyed the Odyssey so much.
Wow.
So
I need to read it then, because yeah.
Oh yeah, I do think I like the Odyssey more than the Iliad.
Okay.
Oh, I tell you, how sometimes late night you're reading something and your eyes will see something different than what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. I've actually tried explaining something similar to that to someone once, and they didn't get what I was talking about. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know the classic... do you know a little bit about the Odyssey?
Yeah.
Do you know the story of the Cyclops, about how he blinded...
Yeah.
Odysseus blinded him, and then when the Cyclops asked what his name was, he said no man. Or no one. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was either no...
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Oh, I think it was no man or no one. Again, it gets translated, and there's like a bit of... Whenever you have a translation, there's always a little bit... They have to interpret it different ways. But yeah. I think it was either no one or no man. But when I read it as Norman. I was like, Norman? What? And the whole time I'm reading it, I'm like, Norman? That doesn't sound right. And then I'm just like, I thought it was like no man or something. And then I read it and I see no man. I was like, was it a typo? And I go back, I'm like, nope. It was right the whole time. It was just me. So, yeah. So I always thought it would be great Norman source material for a movie. So, let's bring up the elephant in the room real quick. That is Christopher Nolan. Specifically, his relationship with DC. Now, again, Christopher Nolan made 2 great Batman movies, and Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. Right? Then he made a terrible one, The Dark Knight Rises. And also, and I don't care what anyone says, I think he escapes a lot of the blame for what happened with the DCEU. Because he was a producer on Man of Steel. And there's interviews with David S. Goyer where you can go back and find them, where Warner Brothers was worried about Man of Steel. And Christopher Nolan, who was a producer, told them, let Zack and David do whatever they want. So that movie wasn't made under the conditions of Batman Begins. It was Chris saying, let them do whatever they want. And we saw how that turned out. And then we saw Batman v Superman. They made a 3-hour R-rated movie, and then we saw how that turned out. So, again, we started this podcast in 2017, which would have been 5 years after The Dark Knight Rises. And then we were still kind of in that Chris Nolan era of DC where they were trying to emulate his stuff, and then they were trying to make the push to the style of Wonder Woman, the theatrical Justice League.
Yeah.
So it's been a while since then. Like, we have now that the DCEU is done, we have officially closed the book on the Christopher Nolan era of DC. Really, it ended with Zack Snyder's Justice League in 2021. So, but that book is now closed.
Mm-hmm.
And, as time has gone on, I kind of feel about Christopher Nolan the same way about Frank Miller, who did Batman Year One and The Dark Knight Returns. Ironically, the basis for Nolan's 2 Batman movies are the same guy. So I feel that Christopher Nolan does not have a perfect, stellar DC history. But we are now 21 years away from Batman Begins. We're how many years away from Snyder's Justice League?
Yeah.
2020. So we're 5 years away from that. From when we really closed the book. Really, you could say 2017, but whatever version you think of Justice League, whatever is the true one.
Yeah.
And I think it's similar to Frank Miller, which is when people think of Frank Miller, who made the worst Batman comic of all time in The Dark Knight Strikes Again. We don't think of that. We think of Batman Year One and The Dark Knight Returns.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's similar to Christopher Nolan, right? As time has gone on, he's not the director of The Dark Knight Rises. Mm-hmm. He's the guy behind Batman Begins and The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And kind of similar to Frank Miller, he made an awful mess with The Dark Knight Strikes Again. And then there was a bit of a redemption because he was attached to Batman vs. Superman and Justice League. I believe he talked in BVS, he talked to Snyder about killing off Superman. And I think he was also involved in casting Ben Affleck as Batman. Mm-hmm. Similar. A few years ago, there was The Dark Knight 3, The Master Race, and Dark Knight, The Last Crusade, which were ones that, look, Frank is the credited writer with Brian Azzarello, but it does sound like it was really Brian Azzarello was really the main guy behind it, but still, Frank was somewhat involved in those. And Chris was somewhat involved in Batman vs. Superman, Justice League. So, it did kind of end with Zack Snyder's Justice League. It did end it on a more positive note, his time with DC. And I used to think, okay, same situations, right? Frank Miller and Christopher Nolan. Why is it that when I think of Frank Miller, I think of Year One and Dark Knight Returns. But with Nolan, I think of Dark Knight Rises. And you know what the difference was between the two? We had time between Dark Knight Strikes Again and when I was thinking about that. There had been a gap of several years. There has now been a gap of several years. So, to me, Christopher Nolan's DC legacy is Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. Mm-hmm. So, that's what I think of. So, I don't think it's a perfect legacy, but overall I think it is like Frank Miller. Like Christopher Nolan's legacy, just like Frank Miller, he told two Batman stories that just changed the genre in the medium, right? Frank did it in comics, Chris did it in movies. So I really think that is Christopher Nolan's legacy in DC, and also it did end positively with Zack Snyder's Justice League, even though he was just a producer, but similar with Frank Miller. So, and also, again, when you talk about Chris Nolan, this isn't me saying this, I've not seen these movies. Mm-hmm. But just from, reading comment sections, it does seem like the breakup between Warner Brothers and Christopher Nolan was for the best. Mm-hmm. Because it did seem like after Inception, all you would constantly hear was that this is Nolan's worst movie yet. This is Nolan's worst movie yet. This is Nolan's worst movie yet. Like, they just... And look, I have not seen those movies. Well, I saw Dunkirk, and boy, did that suck. But it did seem like they were... The feeling was that they were getting worse. And Tenet was the last one. And I remember people did not like Tenet. And then he goes to Universal. New bosses. He gets an Oscar for Best Film. So I do think that breakup was for the best. I think going their separate ways was for the best. And, like, DC's moved on. Nolan's moved on. I think them going their separate ways was for the best. Now, unlike Batman, where he was picking and choosing from different comics, in the Odyssey, Nolan is pretty much going to be sticking to that one source material and the way it is. And look, I'm not going to lie. The interviews we've had with him post-Batman, do I think he's going to get Odysseus? No. Do I think he'll get the characters? No. But if he sticks to the source material and follows it, and has that relationship with Universal, where it wasn't like with Warner Brothers, where they let him do whatever he wanted. There does seem to be a better relationship between Nolan and Universal. So I think they'll be fine there. And I saw the trailer. I thought it did a really good job of establishing Odysseus' quest to return home. And also we see a quick glimpse of that story I brought up earlier with the Cyclops. So I'm not completely on board with it. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go see this. But am curious. And I think, we've moved on. He's at another studio. I think this could probably be good. So,
yeah,
those are my thoughts on the Odyssey.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty excited too. I really think I was thinking it is kind of pulling teeth to get me into a theater in general, and I would say that
unless it's Avatar.
Oh, of course. Then I'm breaking into the theater out of hours.
You're spray painted sir, the movie doesn't come out for 2 months. I'm ready.
Yeah. But of our entire list, I think there are 2 movies where I genuinely, I could see myself actually going somewhere out of the house to see a movie. And it is the Odyssey, and it is Spider-Man, which we've teased enough at this point. But
teasing,
yeah,
yes. So I guess is that all you had to say on the Odyssey?
Yeah, that's all.
Yes. So I think. Oh yes. So did you have any other July ones?
No, and I don't have anything else on my list.
Okay.
We have about 30 minutes left, so I hope we have enough time. Just for the big one.
Yes, we had the big one. If we have to, we can quickly name drop the other one. But this is the big one. Here we are then.
All right.
Oh boy, July. This is why this show exists, people.
Yeah.
July 31st, we have Spider-Man: Brand New Day. That's right, man. Could you have imagined when the end of season 1 of this show, being excited for a 4th Tom Holland Spider-Man after Homecoming?
Yeah.
Who would imagine?
Lots of twists and turns. You really can't predict what we're gonna think on this podcast.
Yes. So in this movie, it's gonna follow Spider-Man after Doctor Strange casts the spell to make everyone forget who Peter Parker is, and it will feature the Punisher, Bruce Banner, Scorpion, and Tombstone, who's played by Marvin Jones III, who also played the bad guy in Black Lightning, Tobias Whale. And also, he voiced Tombstone, that same character, in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So, connection right there. So, have you seen the trailer, or...
No, because I wanted to do it fresh. I mean, I know we might not want to mess with copyright stuff, but I don't know how you wanted to do it. If I should just fully share it and consider it, free use type thing, or if I could just watch it off screen and get a reaction that way. But
sure. If you wanted, you could watch it off screen, and I'll bring it up too, so I know where you are.
Cool. Because I specifically was like, you know what? I haven't seen it at this point. I'll just wait until the podcast so I can have a fresh reaction, because I know you're really excited about it, and I'm sort of, curious what could make this trailer so dang good. I mean, what the heck?
I will say best Marvel trailer since Civil War.
Oh yeah. So
now I don't think it will be the best movie since Civil War.
Yeah, but great, but a great trailer.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have it up, so I'll start it.
All right, I'll start too.
And to make it interesting podcasting, I will try and give thoughts.
Okay.
Tom Holland is in it.
Yes.
I can tell that much.
By the way, that suit is 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I like that it just looks good. Yeah, it doesn't have that shiny fake look that a lot of Marvel movies tend to have. It looks good.
She's from Daredevil Born Again.
Wow. Oh, okay.
This Punisher scene kind of reminds me of the opening of Amazing Spider-Man 2 with the guy who will become the Rhino.
Wow, yeah. Yeah. So he's trying to find his way back in with his friends. Whoa. His powers.
Bruce Banner just being Bruce Banner again?
Yeah. Oh, I know that voice. That's
that's Keith David.
Yeah.
Scorpion.
Oh, that guy is in Better Call Saul. Scorpion.
Do you remember him in Homecoming?
Not really. But yeah, at the time I hadn't seen Better Call Saul, so I. Friendly neighbor. Hey, I laughed at a joke.
That was
I laughed at a joke in a trailer. That never happened. We talk about how hard that is.
Yes.
I authentically laughed.
It's a good thing you didn't have a drink in your mouth where you spit and then you hit the microphone and electrocute yourself.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing as Tom Holland there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was a really fantastic trailer. Dang. I mean, it's sort of like I kept saying after every new Spider-Man movie, like, I want it to feel like Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Lower stakes. That feels like precisely what this is.
Yes. Reminds me a lot of the video game version.
Yeah. Yeah, and my hopes were always wrong on that, but I think that, on some level, I think they'll be true here because, I see the beats they're going for in the story. I think it'll make for something dramatic and interesting. It's a really great way to explain why, Spider-Man was in space and, doing all this stuff. And, it's a great way to strip it back and, it's a great justification that no one remembers who he is. And he's kind of starting over. And, a losing powers sort of ordeal.
Is it losing powers, or is he just evolving?
Yeah, okay.
Did you notice the one thing?
What thing?
When he gets out of the web cocoon, right, and he falls, he shoots a web, but he's not wearing a web shooter.
Oh, okay.
He has organic webbing like Toby.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't notice. That's cool.
Yeah, the first time, I felt like an idiot, because for the first time I wrote a post about, oh my god, this is such a great trailer. The first time, when I first saw that, I was like, oh my god, are they doing the other storyline by J. Michael Straczynski? Ah! And then I was like, wait, does this mean he's going to get organic webbing like Toby? Which would mean the movie is going to do something inspired by the comic that was inspired by a movie. So it's all full circle.
It's all.
And then I rewatched it again. I'm like, oh, he does. You'd see it in there.
Wow, that's cool. We're getting Spider-Man 4. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, this is technically Spider-Man 4.
Yes. It's Spider-Man 4. Wink, wink.
Yes, wink, wink. Little asterisk.
Yeah. But yeah, cool. I'm curious to hear your other thoughts on it, because I agree that was a great trailer.
Yes. Before we get to that, there's one thing I want to bring up. This trailer felt like it was really trying to establish that, yes, we're continuing from the ending of No Way Home, but just from tone and story, this is going to be very different. I loved how Keith David's narration, he talks about, like, spiders go through different life cycles, and for those who survive, it's a kind of, we end the trailer with rebirth. Like, yes, this is the fourth Tom Holland Spider-Man, but they've been talking about, this is the start, really, of a new era for the character.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll give some of my thoughts. By the way, feel free to jump in anytime.
Mm-hmm.
So, the opening of the trailer, to me, felt very classic Spider-Man. We see Peter struggling with personal issues, including his friends no longer remembering him. And I said before, the moment between Spidey and Punisher felt very reminiscent of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 opening. And you know what one of my big takeaways from this trailer was that it felt like when Marvel was doing Spider-Man Homecoming, the whole Iron Man Jr. thing came about because they're like, oh my God, we have to make this so different from the other Spider-Man movies, right? We can't be like Tobey and Andrew. I feel like with this movie, and maybe this is because of a result of No Way Home, they're like, you know what? No. This is a long-running movie franchise that has other versions, and that they've just embraced it now. Like, they've accepted, this isn't just Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4, this is Spider-Man 9. This is the 9th installment in this long-running series. So, I feel like that's helped make it feel like such classic Spider-Man, like those other versions.
Yeah.
So, the classic Spider-Man feel and the more serious tone does make it feel like the start of a new era for the character, and that will be different from the John Watts era. And having Destin Daniel Cretton take over feels like when a new writer takes over the comic book. And I think you mentioned it earlier, after having so many recent Marvel movies where either the world is in danger, the universe is in danger, or the multiverse is in danger, it feels so refreshing to have a smaller and more personal story. I think that's something that Spider-Man needed, something that the MCU needed, and something that the genre as a whole is needed. Because, now I could be wrong, but just off the top of my head, feels like the last time we had a more grounded story in the genre as a whole was The Batman in 2022.
Yeah.
So, now, you know in the trailer how you see MJ kind of with a boyfriend?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people online think that that character is Paul Rabin, a character from Zeb Wells' recent comic book run, who is like one of the most hated comic book characters of all time.
Oh.
So, that's what people on the internet are saying. I think that run may be too recent for them to start pulling stuff from, but I do have a little bit of an outside theory that I'm curious about what you would think.
Okay.
Could that dude be Harry Osborn?
Okay.
Because in the comics, Peter and Harry don't meet until college, and they originally started out as adversaries. Like, Harry was a friend of Flash Thompson. And also, one other thing, in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, the cartoon, Harry had a big role in that show. And we see that show, Scorpion had a big role, Tombstone had a big role, so a lot of characters from that show moved over to this movie. So, what do you think? Could that maybe be Harry Osborn?
Yeah, I almost feel like it would be something like that. It seems time to finally introduce Harry Osborn into this version.
Yes. Now, I know in No Way Home, when William Dafoe's Norman came there, he said Oscorp doesn't exist. But maybe that means Oscorp doesn't exist in New York, or maybe Norman was like in another country or something, and that would explain where Oscorp was all this time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just something because, some people might think that that means that Norman and Harry don't exist in the MCU, but maybe they exist, but
the corporation doesn't exist. Maybe it didn't exist yet, and it's going to.
And Norman could be starting it or something.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's just starting.
Oh, yes. Or Norman could eventually buy another corporation, then name it Oscorp.
Yeah.
Yes, capitalism at its best.
Yes.
So, in the trailer, we see that Peter is still changing and mutating from the spider bite, and it's very similar to a story in the season 2 of the 90s cartoon that eventually led to him getting extra arms and eventually becoming Man-Spider. So, and also in that story arc in the cartoon, Punisher played a big role in hunting Spider-Man. Now, I don't think they're going to go that far where he'll get the extra arms and become Man-Spider.
Yeah.
But I could maybe see it happening like in a dream sequence, like where Peter has a nightmare and wakes up from that.
Yeah.
So, now Bruce Banner talks about mutation and about how he's continuing to mutate from the spider bite. And a lot of people on the internet have been saying that Sadie Sink is going to play Jean Grey from X-Men. And after the talk about mutation, I think the internet is right. Now, Sadie Sink has been cast, but they're not saying who she's playing. I think the internet is right that she'll be playing Jean Grey from the X-Men. So, I guess this is like, there's not much to go on, but the fact that they say mutation, do you think, and that they're not saying who Sadie Sink's character is, do you think she could be playing Jean Grey from X-Men, or is that a bit too much of a leap?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and I don't know enough about X-Men to weigh in on that, but yeah, I don't know. Would they already be incorporating? I mean, maybe in a subtle way to try and start incorporating X-Men, but that'd be the only way I could see it. It feels a little much to pack in, but
I think she is, but I would almost think I could talk myself out of it, thinking it would make more sense for Jean to appear first in X-Men than it would in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And you know, people point out that on the bus, there's a character who has a very similar hairstyle to Rogue from the X-Men. I think that's just an Easter egg. I don't think they would reveal Rogue in a trailer, so
right.
I think people are reading too much into it. That, at most, is an Easter egg or a misdirect.
Yeah.
So we see Bruce Banner is in the trailer, and he's filling kind of Kurt Connor's role in the animated storyline. I'm very glad that he's back to normal again and not Professor Hulk. Just from this trailer, I don't think he's going to Hulk out in this movie. I think they're going to save that for Secret Wars. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think I got the vibe that it's a little bit more of a Bruce Banner role. That's kind of the vibe I got from it. So no hulking out.
Oh yes. Now we talked about Keith David as a voiceover in the trailer, and it hadn't been announced who he's playing. But I have a theory. I think he's playing Ezekiel Sims, a character created by J. Michael Straczynski and John Romita Jr. So Ezekiel's a successful businessman who also has spider powers, and he gets Peter to look at his powers in a different way besides just science. And he talks about, like, totems and how he points out to Peter, like, hey, you're a spider and you fight octopuses and scorpions, kind of like this kind of animal fight in New York. So he gets Peter to look at his powers in a more mystical way. Now, the character did recently appear in Madam Web, and, you know, that was only recently, but I don't think that Madam Web, a movie nobody saw, would prevent Sony from using him in a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
so,
fair.
Do you have any guesses about who Keith David could be?
I mean, I could not begin to speculate who he is, but when I heard his voice, you know, the funny thing is, really the main thing I know him from, I'm curious if there's something else you know him from, but he is in the 6th season of Community. He's actually in main cast of season 6. So they add a character, but he plays Elroy Patashnik, and I actually think maybe kind of an underrated character because a lot of people overlook season 6. But I love him because of that.
Oh yes, I know him mostly from he was the star of the Gargoyles cartoon. And he was also the bad guy in Princess and the Frog. And in the Spectacular Spider-Man, he was the voice of Tombstone.
Okay.
All right. So this one's going to be a little bit of a leap, okay? So in the trailer, you see someone locked in a room. Now, in the comic books, Ezekiel locked someone named Cindy Moon in a facility like that. Now, Cindy Moon was a character who was at that radiation demonstration and was bitten by the same spider right after Peter, and she later becomes the superhero Silk. So I'm kind of wondering, is the person that's kind of locked up in that room that you see in a trailer Cindy Moon? Now, Cindy did appear in Spider-Man Homecoming and Infinity War, played by Tiffany Espenson, and at one time Sony was developing a Silk movie and later a TV show that would star Espenson that was later scrapped. So Silk has been a character that Sony has been thinking of. So it makes me wonder, could they maybe have incorporated whatever they were developing around her into this movie?
Yeah, that's cool. I could see it.
Yes. And then, so we see Scorpion has his like full costume. I've kind of always felt that he gets it from the criminal underworld like Tombstone, and not like the comics where he gets it from J. Jonah Jameson. And I still think that, but I think that if Spider-Man is mutating and if like the public figures that out, that could be motivation for why someone like J. Jonah Jameson would create Scorpion in the comics. So, do you think that they might still follow the comics and he gets the suit from J. Jonah Jameson? Or will they probably do what I'm expecting, is that he'll get it from probably Tombstone in the criminal underworld?
You know, maybe this is just a speculation on like maybe the taking beats from, you know, the Tobey Maguire ones, but you know, it feeling more of a criminal underworld thing. I could see that.
Oh yes. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had for Spider-Man Brand New Day. You know, when we look at how Marvel Studios has handled Spider-Man, it's been a bit of a mixed bag. Homecoming, Far From Home, they turned him into Iron Man Jr. But after No Way Home, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and now this trailer, I believe, I have faith. I think they finally get the character. They're embracing that look. Mm-hmm. This is the same character from Tobey and Andrew's movies. It's just a different version. But it is the same character. This is also Spider-Man 9, so I have full faith in this movie. Like, I am very much looking forward to Avengers Doomsday. Like, the trailers for Doomsday have gotten me on board. In fact, maybe another time I'll bring up, there was a certain comic book that brought me a bit on board onto something I thought was a stupid idea.
Oh.
So, but like, as much as I'm looking forward to Doomsday, Spider-Man Brand New Day, that is the superhero movie I am most excited for, and I cannot wait for July 31st. So, anything else to say about Spider-Man Brand New Day?
Yeah, I mean, that about does it. I mean, all I gotta say is, like, I mean, I know I only saw the trailer, and we've seen great trailers for bad movies, but like, it does give me full faith. It's looking pretty exciting.
Oh,
it's
yes.
Good stuff.
Well, by the way, before we wrap up Spider-Man, do you think Spider-Man Hulk will appear in Doomsday, or will there be a post-credit scene to explain why they're not there? I don't think they're in Doomsday. I know, like, they've been talking about trying to fit in some of the trades talked about Tom Holland trying to balance the Odyssey and Doomsday, but I don't think he's in Doomsday. I think the end of this movie will explain why he's not there. And Hulk.
Yeah, I think it seems like too much of a leap to get from the story that's happening in this to Doomsday. It seems like too much of a leap, so I think they're not in it.
Oh, yes. So, I guess last one, we could bring up one quick thing real quick. Our final movie, and that is on August 28th, Coyote versus Acme.
Oh, yeah.
This is the movie, the Looney Tunes movie that follows Wile E. Coyote, who sues Acme for selling him defective products. Now, Warner Brothers, under the leadership of David Zaslav, who is going to go away now because he sold out to Paramount. Great job, David. Good riddance. Don't ever come back to Hollywood. So, this movie they tried to scrap, and then Ketchup Entertainment saved it, just like they did The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. And we had heard, the word is that this movie is actually really good. We heard that from Phil Lord and Chris Miller and some other celebrities. So, I am very glad that this movie got saved, because I don't think that movie should be scrapped for tax write-off. I think it was wrong when it happened to Batgirl. It was wrong when it happened to Scoob Holiday Haunt. And it was wrong that they tried to do it to this movie and The Day the Earth Blew Up. And now look, am I excited for this movie? Am I glad it's being released? Yes. Am I super excited for it? Not really. The Looney Tunes movie I was more excited for came out last year. So, and we're coming off of Space Jam 2, which I didn't think worked, so I personally am not super excited for it. Like, I'm not like, oh my god, this is going to be great. But I'm like, you know what? I'm glad it got saved, and I do plan to see it. So, your thoughts on Coyote versus Acme?
Yeah, obviously very glad it's saved. My thoughts on it, like, every time I read about it, I find the premise really amusing. Like, I just find it's almost amazing that it got made, because the premise is just kind of silly, but I really like how silly the premise is, and of course, amazingly, glad it's actually getting released.
Oh, yes. So, guys, there we go. We have counted down our list of the upcoming summer movie season. Boy, do we got some exciting stuff to look forward to. So, of course, the main one I'm looking forward to is July 31st for Spider-Man. But,
of course.
Yeah, very hyped. So, I don't know if there's anything else you had to say about summer movie season besides get your sunscreen.
Yeah, what else can be basically that? Use sunscreen, everybody. Like, do you take that stuff seriously? You gotta, I know it's sticky and gross, but you gotta put on sunscreen.
Or maybe stay inside. Giant umbrella hats.
Oh yes. Or umbrella hats.
That's honestly, what you just said is my favorite answer. Just stay inside.
Just stay inside.
That's what I much prefer.
Yes.
I don't get people inside. Who are like, we need to go to the beach.
Yeah, exactly. The beach is I don't like sand. Anyway.
It gets everywhere. There's sharks, too.
What was I going to say? Oh, inside can be a local movie theater.
That's true.
So that is where we will end.
Though AMC doesn't want us to say that. But producer Paul can deal with them.
Yeah, they'll deal with that. So, this summer, local movie theaters inside where you don't need to use sunscreen.
That's right. Stay out of the sun, kids.
And, that's our summer movie preview special episode of 2026.
Yes,
hopefully you'll hear us in the fall.
Oh, yes. So, guys, until you are sitting in that movie theater with your big bucket of popcorn, your giant soda, waiting for the screen to light up for your most hyped summer movie, always remember to keep falling down that rabbit hole.